Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by BASF.
Hi, I'm Amber Bell, and this is Real Agriculture. I am here today with Jay Byer, who is the manager at Gateway Research Organization. He's an agronomist with them as well, and has a really big fascination with bugs. So we're actually going to talk about pea leaf weevil in pulses today. And welcome, Jay. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm enjoying this so far.
Okay, so Jay, we'll just get into the meat of things right now. And can you let us know what are the main signs of pea leaf weevil damage on crops? So if producers are going out in their field, what can they look for that might be a symptom of that?
Yeah. At this time of this stage of the crop, it's an ideal time to go look for pea leaf weevil. You're going to look for little notches in the leaves. While that's some damage, it's not a big deal. The main impact of pea leaf weevil is when they lay all their eggs, and then the eggs drop, they become larvae. They go into the nodules of the rhizobia that are on the pea leaf weevil, the nitrogen fixing bacteria, and they eat those up, and then they cause damage to them, reduce the yield, reduce the nitrogen fixation. So that's where the major damage is, but the ideal time to look is right now with the 2-3 leaf stage, and you can see how many notches you have on the what they call the clamshell leaf, the initial leaf that comes out. If you see at least one notch in more than 30% of those clamshell leaves, then you have to consider immediate control.
Okay, and so this is a perfect stage really to be looking for a lot of things in our crops. So you would recommend for sure that farmers just get out there and start looking at what you have on the field.
Absolutely. Right? Scouting is so critical. People have to get out there now that all the seeding is done. For a lot of people, they can't go fishing, they can't go away. They've got to go start checking their crops that have emerged like this one. This was seeded early May, and now it's time to start checking for insects.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the symptoms. Now, what impact does that have on yield, on like further on down in the season? What impact does the damage have?
If the damage is really severe to the rhizobia nodules, we've seen 30% reduction in yield for a crop. So with a heavy infestation of pea leaf weevil, there can be real significant damage further down. These little bits of bites that are taken off of the leaves really don't impact the production very much, but when it gets to that later stage, yes, you can have pretty significant yield drop. And this area is one which has a pretty significant population of pea leaf weevil.
And what constitutes a heavy damage or a heavy amount of pea leaf weevil?
Right. That damage, when we've been doing surveys with Shelley Barkley with Alberta Agriculture, we've seen leaves that have had 5 and 6 notches out of each and every individual leaf all the way up the stem. That's really significant.
So we're in the Westlock region right now, and you mentioned that this is a region that is high in pea leaf weevil.
You bet.
What are some other regions that would be high? What would be an area you'd want to look out for?
Yeah, the whole central Alberta Highway QE2 corridor has been known to have had a high population of pea leaf weevil on the surveys that have been done. And there are pockets in southern Alberta as well, both on peas and faba beans as well.
Okay, so a lot of our listeners were throughout Canada, really in the prairies. Do you know if they're in some of the other areas to watch out for?
The most recent surveys I've seen is that Saskatchewan and east, not quite so bad as Alberta, but that doesn't mean, again, that you can go fishing and not worry about
any damage whatsoever.
Any damage whatsoever. That's right.
Okay, so a producer goes out into their crop, they see that there's pea leaf weevil damage. What are some good strategies for controlling that, whether chemical or non-chemical?
Yes, certainly there are chemical sprays that would work on that. And again, this is the ideal timing if they are looking at some chemical controls. Of course, long-term strategies include rotation. We can't ignore that. Those are the sorts of things that people can consider when they're planning their crop in advance. Try not to go peas on faba beans on peas, for example, or something like that.
So just stay away from those pulses.
Keep a good rotation 4 or 5 years in between, and do your best to manage it if it does show up.
Okay, and what does management look like when it shows up?
Yeah, the most obvious one, of course, is a insecticidal spray. And that's, once you've got it, that's all you've got left. So That's what you can do to deal with it before it gets down into the roots and cause real problems with the crop.
Right. And how much does the infestation drift off kind of after you've put in rotation? So you take peas out, how long does it take for that to sort of get rid of itself?
Pea leaf weevils are fairly mobile, so if your neighbor has them, you might have them in a subsequent year. They really don't stay in an area where there isn't anything to feed on, so it's not just stay away for 2 years and you're good, because there will be some infiltration from out of the field as well.
So we just need all our farmers to get on the same rotation schedule and then we'll be good to go, right?
Wouldn't that be awesome if we could do it?
Yeah,
no, that wouldn't work so good for some of the markets anyway, but maybe we could do it by county or something. I don't know. Yes. We've had so much pulse production in the Westlock, Byer, Leduc, Sturgeon County area that that's one of the reasons why there's been such a buildup of the pea leaf weevil. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I know you're with Gateway Research Organization,
Yes.
So there's always ongoing research.
You
And
bet.
is there any, when it comes to pea leaf weevil, on control strategies or management, or what research?
Certainly the scouting's being done by Alberta Agriculture.
Yeah.
They do go throughout the whole province where there might be any possibility of pea leaf weevil, particularly on faba beans this year, because we've been going away from peas due to another disease of Anamyces, which is a trial that we're working on right here. So we don't have any direct research here at Grow on pea leaf weevil per se, but we're obviously watching our fields to make sure that there's not a lot of damage there. But Shelley Barkley does a provincial survey with Alberta Agriculture, she is, and that would be a great thing to connect people with. If they have any thought that there might be pea leaf weevil in their field, call up Shelley in Brooks, and she'll be able to have somebody come out and do a physical assessment of the field, and then we know perhaps if the area is expanding or contracting, whatever's happening in the year. University and other places like that are also doing research on pea leaf weevil.
Great.
So.
And I think I've seen Shelley Barclay's posts on X.
Okay,
recently,
good.
so
Yep.
she's all over the place.
She is all over the place. She's promoting people to contact her, and I agree with her. That'd be a great thing to do.
Perfect. Well, that's awesome, Jay. That's a ton of information. And do you have any final thoughts for producers that are going into the season and growing pulses?
I can't stress enough that they need to go out, have a look at their field, make sure that if there were a variety or something like that would be resistant to pea leaf weevil, that'd be awesome, but it doesn't happen yet. Same with faba beans. They have some awesome nodulation, but if the pea leaf weevil gets into the nodules, that's done. So keep checking, keep monitoring, and you can even scout. We've got a sweep net here that people can use to scout and actually see if they can find some pea leaf weevil, the physical signs of them, and keep watching and watch what's happening with your neighbors as well.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for joining us, and